Welcome to the last week of April. Hope you guys had a good week. We are in earnings season. Now, everyone was saying, okay, earnings season is really when we're going to start to see the markets rebound. However, as you can see, this is a weekly chart on the SPY. These are trend lines. So we back it out. You can see that it's had this long-term trend where it's bounced off of this bottom purple line here. And then sort of this one is the more recent one that it's had since February that's been bouncing off of, and a downward trend line here for the weekly chart starting back in January when we first started to see the downturn. So as you can tell, in the past couple of weeks, really hasn't overall pushed the market up. You can see someone has this upward trend here. However, it is still bouncing off of that downward trend line. So let's go ahead and back it out to the daily chart as well. You can see it keeps testing it, but it's not breaking it. So what's interesting is if it breaks down through this 200-day moving average again, and then this shorter term trend line here, if we start to see that breakdown, I think we're really going to see a bear market. If it can fully break up and have more than just, see this one, it had a red day after it tested it, and then another red day as well. So it's really not breaking that trend. So I'm looking for a break of this trend line, which I actually published on TradingView, and you can also see it on my Twitter feed as well. And getting into earnings this week. So I'd mentioned before Earnings Whisper, that is a great site. Now I'll show you my Thursday watch list. This is a sample of my watch list that I do. Really easy. It's roughly $1 a day. You can see I put a little review in of what's going on for the pre-market. I also have a spreadsheet as far as what I'm expecting to be watching for the day with the support and resistance levels, just like my charts that I do every week on my weekly review. I have it here. I have it broken down in a chart form if some people like that more. And I also have the visual. So you can see that Chipotle, CMG on Friday, 24 million in the float, was an amazing stock. So we go back here, we go and we see, so I had the breakout for 388. It actually broke 389. And then look, so it broke 388, which was down here. It actually opened above that. 388.33, and it just ripped up all day on Thursday. So you can see, honestly, guys, it's worth it to subscribe to the watch list. You get one of those a week. It pays for a month, right? So you just go right here. You can sign up for it here. We also have the Modern Trader Summit, which is coming up in June. Seats are really starting to sell out. I'm trying to work on doing streaming, but I'm not 100% there yet. So definitely check it out. You guys don't want to miss it. If you watch this little video clip, you can see some of the traders that are going to be speaking there. And we'll go ahead and we'll get into the watch list for the week. Also, just like I said about Chipotle on Thursday, you never know what the market's going to do with earnings. Sometimes, like Amazon, best earnings ever, yet a completely red day for the stock. It did gap up and it opened, I think, up about 100, and let's see, where did it close here? It closed here at 15.17 and it ran all the way up to 16.38. So it did go up 122 points and close. It had a pullback of 70 points off of the high for the day. So that's pretty massive. So with earnings, really go with the trend. You know, Amazon does have a very large float. So when the float starts to sell off and the trend starts to be selling, we can go and look at that 15-minute chart. You can see it was just red and it never really recovered and it never broke above VWAP. That's this orange line here for the day. So you definitely want to pay attention to what the market is doing, what the volume is doing, because the market is going to dictate what happens. So into the watch list for the week. As always, guys, I am not a licensed professional. I did have my Series 7, but it is no longer current. So please do your own due diligence and trade with proper risk management and proper, trading. So here we get into the first long for the week. We have BJRI. This one's really interesting to me because it's at a breakout point for the year. And they had their reports come out on the 26th, so it's still trending upwards from that. We also see our support level of 55.50 and a resistance level of 56.25. It does have 20.27 million in the float. It was only 22.32% short float volume on Friday. There is the 1-year chart, and we back it out even further, the 5-year chart. So it has broken out on a 5-year chart, so it is breaking out brand new highs for the company, so definitely on watch. Next, we have ENVA. This is a 5-year chart as well, so you can see it's about to test that high of 5 years at 32.10. So we are breaking out for the year. It closed just 60 cents below the 52-week high, which it did set on Friday. And it could potentially go up, test this level here of 30.20, and then after that up to 32.10. It does have 27 million in the float and 38.05% short float volume. So we go to our 15-minute chart, and I've got a support level of 28.35 and a resistance level of 29.35. Next on the list is SIVB. A lot of times, guys, too, for the earnings stocks that are going on for that week, I definitely use trade ideas. The links are all down below, so definitely check it out, because that will tell you the sentiment of which ones are really moving the day before and also the day of, with stock splits activity, options activity. You can put all those filters on so you can see what really a lot of people are interested in, because when you have that volume, you have that big movement, and obviously earnings is a major catalyst. So we have a support of 298.28 and a resistance of $306.94. So we'll back it out here for a 1-year chart. Like I said, we saw in the 5-year chart, it does look like this one. Oh no, we didn't do 5-year on this. 1-year chart, it is setting brand new highs. Please pull it back for 5-year chart, new highs. Let's check overall for the stock. New highs. This one has just been upward trending. Looks like a nice Bitcoin where it's just ripping up all the time. So had a nice gap up. It continued, closed up at the high of the day, just about $1.30 off of 20% gap up almost for the day. And they have 52 million in the float, and it was 26.81% short float volume on Friday. Next, we have BCOV. So Bright Cove, we back it down to our 15-minute chart. Bright Cove has 29.9 million in the float, 25.86% short float volume on Friday, a support level of 910 and a resistance of 960. When we do look at the 1-year chart, it did close at the high of the year. So definitely look at that for a potential further breakout. Last one on the list is Shake, S-H-A-K. Closed at a resistance level. 47.26 was the close of the day. 47.50 is the 52-week high, and 46.76 is what we're looking for as support. So you can see on the 1-year chart, it does look like it has the potential to break out further. A nice cup and handle setup for further continuation. On our short list, we do have Chtr, Charter Communications. Massive downturn after earnings. It did drop all the way down to $2.50, bounced up $13. So I would look for support level of first $2.59 to be broken, and then down of $2.50.79. A resistance of 263 and 47 cents. When we back it out into a 15-minute chart, you can see it right here. So it did pull down to the low of the year, bounced up, and then further continuation, and it looks like it could potentially bounce further down. However, it might have a little bit of an upward bounce and then further number down. So let the market decide, guys. We've got Flex. Here's our 15-minute chart. Massive day down pre-market on Friday morning, bounced up, and then a downward trend overall for the day. And it is hovering around a low of 12.95 support and a resistance, I would say, of 13.04. 52-week low is 12.93. We look back at the year, you can see it is at the low of the year. Our 5-year chart, it does look somewhat at a support level right here, I would say, of 12.83. If it breaks down below that, I would say look further continuation down to 11.66, and we will really see what the market decides. Next on our short list, we have Bud. So we'll go to 15-minute chart, Anheuser-Busch. Move it up here a little bit for us. So we have a support level of 99.82 on our 15-minute chart, a resistance level. First one I would put right here at the high of this dip of 121 cents. Next level, if it were to break that, of 143. And it is at the 52-week low, closed 11 cents above it. So we look at our 1 year, we're at the all-time low. This is our 5-year chart. You can see, obviously, it's been broken down big time from our weekly 200 moving average. And it has hit a support level. We could definitely continue on down here to 94 before there could be a potential bounce. And they have 910 million in the float. Next, we have BDC, Belden Inc. So we'll bring it to our 15-minute chart. downward trending basically ever since the 18th. And we've seen a support level of 63.69, 52-week low member club this week, 64.43 for resistance to be broken out. So definitely check that out. There's our 1-year chart at the low and our 5-year chart where we see that it has tested this level before, pulled back. So it could use it as support and bounce from there. However, because it did have earnings and it did have a downward trend, I would look for further downward movement, potentially down to 58 before we would see another bounce on this one. Last one for our short list is AXE. So we've got AXE, I would say a support level of 59.50 and resistance of 59.85. Honestly, this one has a lower float of 26.58 million. So definitely be careful, because if it does start to go in an upward manner, you could squeeze some shorts. However, in general, when we do see stocks hitting the 52-week low club, we do tend to see them drop further down. Another one that had that happen this past week was Mercy. That's sort of an extra one. You can see my my drawings here. I do think that this one could potentially drop lower if it breaks below this 32.10 level. As you can see on the 5-year chart, it is a pretty strong support level there, but if it does break below, you're looking at 29 area probably, and then below that down to 26 if it does break the 200-day moving average on, 200 weekly moving average for that one. So the longer term swings that I might recommend would be WPP. This is a weekly. Let's go back to a year. So you can see it has been testing this bottom level down here of the 52-week low. However, it is holding above it. The last time it hit a low, it was 77.33. So it is 70 cents above that. So I would say, you know, put a 76.50 stop in it if you wanted to get into that long term. We do have Philip Morris had negative earnings, and it had the first upward day on Friday. So I would look for potential bounce on this one and upward movement longer term from 80.50 as a support level. We also have PG, Procter & Gamble, same scenario, had dividends and earnings, and it does look like a low of 72. I would put that as a stop for longer term. However, it does have some, you know, $20 to the upside potential. We have Novartis, NVS as well, had a low this past week, and it did bounce off of 75.75 roughly. So I would look for 75.50 as support. It could go all the way up. You can see it spiked up here, last earnings, great earnings, and then it dropped back down. So keep it on watch. It could have potential. It's got a lot of movement to it. And last one is Heinz, KHC. So keep this one on watch. I have mentioned it before. I did mention it back here. So definitely keep it on watch. It keeps hovering around this 52-week. I mentioned it actually back over here. So keep it on watch. It did drop below that, but that doesn't mean that it's not another potential entry. We've seen 3 good up days here. I would look more for confirmation of break of 58 before I would get in, but use 56 as a stop level. As always, guys, carpe profit, seize those profits one trade at a time. Make sure you book your seat for Modern Trader Summit. It's going to be amazing. We've got Kunal, we have Stephanie Kammerman, we have LaToya Dean Smith, we have Billy Wilson, we've got Sean McLaughlin. Some amazing, amazing traders to learn from. So definitely make sure you book your seat at moderntradersummit.com. Can't wait to meet you all in person and have you guys profit.